So there's two menus, and we'll show you. This is the first one. So right now we are working in the fine rib knit or plain rib. Okay. We calculate the number of revolutions the machine needs to make a full roll.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. So every revolution you have 10 rows because there's 10 yarns, 10 feeders.
That's how
right?
it works. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
the 10 lines we were seeing full color yesterday is
Yeah, in the stripes.
when it goes from like 1 to 1. Like,
That's one repeat.
okay.
And then so it would repeat like so. Now
yeah.
we have to calculate. We'll set it at 0, and when the roll is full today, we'll know how many rows it takes. Okay. So what we do here is they're doing 35. I just want to double check 1 second. 10 circle.
Straight.
Yeah. I think he has 30, 23, and 12, which will make 35, and then there's 35 times 35. So 35 repeats of 35 times 10. So 35 is considered one hat,
Okay.
as they set it up in,
Yeah.
in China.
Which essentially
which
would
is
be about-
350 rows.
Yes.
And then he's saying 35 of those makes a complete roll.
Okay.
Okay, but we will see. Okay,
And that would be obviously contingent on the fact that for
Yarn
us-
size.
Well, and for us, 35 hats. Like, sorry, one hat is 20 inches over 35.
So it really, it's once we make the calculation with this yarn, it's more for you to know I'm getting 45 hats from a roll, or 52 hats from a roll.
But then
or
it changes every time.
it changes every time what you're cutting. If you're making a
Well,
long
that's
hat
exactly
or a
it, yeah.
short hat.
Cuff,
if
no
it's-
cuff.
Exactly.
Big cuff, small
but
cuff.
it's you just want to maximize really the number, the most you can put in the machine, the roll,
Yeah,
the
the-
roll size. 'Cause you want to
because-
max because it's when it's running, it's producing.
And-
if you're stopping it at 40 hats,
And you could
eventually you're making 4 stops more during the week
Yeah.
or the day.
And
or-
then that is when the machine stops spinning, I guess. These parameters,
the machine will stop.
once it
And
hits
it'll
those
say output
parameters.
finished.
Okay. And then what was to happen if that math is wrong? Let's say
It makes
we
a
put,
half a roll.
no, we put too much. Like, is there a
Well,
sensor that will prevent
Yes.
it from? You know what I mean? Like, let's say we put 45, but it should have been 35. So then
No.
it's gonna.
It-
You know what I
the
mean?
machine will not stop if the roll is too big. No.
That's something what's gonna happen though, if it does get too big, it's gonna stop rolling
Rolling.
because it can't roll, and then the fabric is gonna start to come down, and then the
Stop,
sensor
and then
on the
it'll stop.
bottom.
Yeah, but,
But-
you don't want to.
No, 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 but I
That's
just-
like a last resort, sort of.
But always, you train your operators when they take something out, they reset. They have to reset. If they don't reset, it's just, it's just gonna keep running.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
you cannot start the machine again if you did not say roll, because it says output finish, and you say yes or no.
Yeah.
Because how a problem like that could happen is, let's suppose you want to run a sample and you start running the roll, okay? Let's say you set it for 45 or 50, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, and then in the middle, you
Change the
take it out and then you put another roll on and then you hit the reset. That's fine. But if you just let it keep running and running and running and running and then don't hit the reset, it's just going to keep rolling and rolling and rolling.
Yeah, because it thinks you're starting at 0, but really you're starting with a small roll on it.
Right.
So then we have speed, like the speed set, and then the actual speed, and then so they've done 4 rows out of 35 right now. That's what the calculation is.
Yeah.
But we cut it off a few times.
So it's hard to.
So we can do. So you have the option here, single reset, like if you cut out a hat, but that's only at the beginning of the roll, right? So it's more total reset. So if I touch this total reset now, you see the 4 will disappear. Yes. So now, so it has done zero turns out of 35 and 0 hats out of 30. It's bad to use the same number because, if I would have said it's 30 revolutions to make one hat, but now it's 35 revolutions to make one hat and 35 hats to make one roll.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we're using the same number over and over.
Yeah,
again.
yeah. Because realistically, it might be it's 35 resolution to make a hat, but we want to make 40 hats.
Yeah, yeah. And it will tell you the knitting time to do the 35, the one hat.
Okay.
So this is also, you can
production
say,
calculations.
yeah, exactly. So it gives you an idea, okay, 3 minute or 1 minute, and how many will I make, plus the time.
Yeah, whatever's left divided by the number I'm making will give me the amount of time it's taking to make one.
Yeah. So you have single reset here, which I don't think you're really going to use. Total reset, single stop. That means after it makes one hat, it will stop. After
Okay.
it will stop
Yeah,
after
yeah.
calculation of what happened. So say you want to try something new, and then you go over here. You don't want to make a hat and a half or 3 hats, and you go, oh, it's the wrong size, and I wasted yarn. Rarely used. Step lock is, since on this machine it doesn't make a difference, on that machine it makes a difference. It will stay. In this hat you're doing one function. In that hat you could do 2 different functions.
Which is the
tucking
tuck
and knitting.
and knitting, yeah.
So you could say single stop. That means it will always run one of the 2 functions. It will stay in that function.
The step lock,
That's-
sorry.
Yeah, and that's more for testing something. Again, I don't think you'll be using that function. Slow speed will run the machine at 10. Say you just want to test a new yarn, it's too thick, too thin, you don't want it to overflow. You can either hold the jog button, which will,
means slow.
it'll slow and release. But if you run it on the slow speed, it will run on the green, but at a slow speed constantly,
Okay.
without your finger on
And
the button.
the speed is that 10 here, correct?
Yes.
And 10 means that's your normal, because the other day we were talking about speeds and outputs and stuff. You and I
That
on
is the
phone.
slow. That is the slow speed. That is the jog speed.
Okay, and so normally
I can adjust that speed up and down.
but normally we want to run it at normal. When we're-
Really? Oh, when you're running, 55, 45 to 65. It depends on the yarn. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
cotton,
But
acrylic.
you and I were talking about like it can go to 100, but it's gonna thread break all the time. So you better
Yeah.
have to go stay. So
I would say between 50 to 65.
Okay.
45 to 65.
Yeah.
It really, yeah. Do you have a lot of production to make, or
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you're running back and
Yeah.
forth, and you're running at 45, and if it stops, it's you know it's going to stop before lunch.
Yeah, yeah.
At 55, it might stop, and you still have things to do. It's toss up there. So alarm jog is, say a light goes on, but it will not move. But if you put alarm jog on, you can jog it with the red light on.
to see what's faulty or whatever.
Yeah.
To help.
You might say, oh, it should not be on.
Yeah, yeah.
And okay, and then
So it's an alarm bypass essentially.
perfect. And then you have the lights down here,
nice.
on the top, on the bottom, and then there's a little blower on the side. Just instead of, it's better to use the air gun. This is just an extra little blower
But it blows where?
over here on this side. Or you can go from the other side with Bluetooth.
Oh, okay. So while it's running, you click that. Yeah, yeah.
It's there, but
Yeah, why would you walk to this side of the machine when you can just grab the gun and blow?
exactly. I just think it's more efficient. So system setup, 5166 is the code. Password.
I'm gonna have to remember this, I guess.
You'll call me next season.
Yeah.
So here's the system setup. So you have all the machines are set up with 2 different, the same screen, but this is plain speed is like for the 184 types of machine, only the fine rib.
Okay.
Top speed would be for this machine.
Okay.
So on the other machine you would have 0 on the top and 45 on the bottom. Okay. Then we've set up 10 for the jogging speed,
Yeah.
which is the yellow speed. Alarm sensor is 10. This is just a number to give the sensitivity of the lights to
Yeah.
go on. Oil time, it will run for, right now at 000 means it's always spurting, continuous. You want continuous.
Oil.
There is an option to do it on 10 seconds on, 10
Yeah,
seconds
yeah.
off.
Like you do with the
everybody
pool
just
pump or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone just does constant. So right now it's doing, like I said, 35 to make one hat, and
Yeah.
then 35 to make the whole thing. Total output is 35, and
Yeah.
one hat is 35, and that's where you would adjust it. And so far they've made
91 hats.
91 hats, I guess. Yeah. And then you just exit. They ask you,
Yeah,
did
if
you
wanna
change
see-
anything? Yeah, and you say no. And then you're back.
And then where do I change the time? Sorry, it's my pet peeve. It's
Go ahead. How did enter program.
Yeah, now do that.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Here is
2307 is the 21st today,
yeah, pretty sure. It is
and it is what time?
10:10, just on the dot.
Here we go.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, you have to press the programming button. Yeah.
Sweet.